Tonight, on Be Something Wonderful, this connects you instantly with your desire and a technique to create your future self. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. I got an email from a subscriber that said, Tom, my desires just don't feel good to me. And I know it's what I want, but and I know the feeling that I have is not going to attract them, is not going to manifest them. I just don't know what to do with it. I don't know why it feels so off to me. I was wondering if you could unpack that. Well, guys, we're going to unpack this tonight and more. Here's what I want to say. And here, desire always feels good. Always feels good. When it doesn't feel good, this means you're aligning with the non-fulfillment of it as opposed to the fulfillment of your desire. Hear this. Right? You're connecting more with the unwanted than the wanted. You're connecting with the non-fulfillment of your desire. So it's not really your desire, it's the idea or the thought or the feeling of it not fulfilled. So you want to move to the fulfillment. And there's one way that instantly connects you not only to the fulfillment of your desire, but to everything that you want to be, do, or have. It connects you to your higher self. It connects you to that inner being, that divinity within, that wisdom in God. What is it? Appreciation. We've talked about gratitude over the last few days, given the holiday here in the United States with Thanksgiving. But I want to move, even gratitude's awesome. But even with gratitude, there might be a certain resistance to it. Just a little bit of resistance depending on you, right? Depending on how you feel gratitude. But appreciation is totally resistance-free. It's right up there with love and compassion, the most high elevated emotions, really the feelings or the natural state of who you really are, right? This one thing immediately reconnects you with your higher self and the state of fulfillment. You just feel fulfilled, you feel whole. Not necessarily because of your desire, but because of appreciation. Hear this. And when you feel whole, when you feel fulfillment, then you must feel the fulfillment of your desire. That's what we're talking about, right? Appreciation, absolutely resistance-free. It's even beyond gratitude, right? It's appreciating the people, events, and circumstances and outcomes in your experiences. It reaches and reaches far beyond them, right? It reaches far beyond those experiences. It's so powerful. You channel the loving energy of the dimensionally larger you, or the dimensionally larger reality, right? It's part of the big three. Right, the big three: appreciation, love, and compassion. Those are the big three. Those are the highest elevated emotions. Those are closer to really who you really are. That's big. So let's unpack this a little bit more. So it's about aligning with your higher self. When you do this, when you feel appreciation, here's the things that you stop doing. Hear this. When you're feeling appreciation for everything, right? It's not just gratitude for things you have and things that have happened, but it's just feeling appreciation in general for every outcome, for every event, every circumstance, everything around you. Finding that sweet spot of appreciation. Wow, that's powerful. You stop looking for completeness and satisfaction in the 3D world. That keeps you away from that. That's the opposite of appreciation, right? Looking to be complete and whole and satisfaction from outside of yourself, from other people, events, and circumstances. Stop digging in and giving yourself or others ultimatums. Right? You stop doing this when you're in appreciation. Why ultimatums? Why giving yourself, I've got to get this by this time. I've got to be this in my life. There's nothing you have to do. There's nothing you have to be. Just yourself, that higher self, right? Stop being seduced by unending cravings to feel temporarily fulfilled, right? It's those cravings, right? Those unchecked cravings that we feel like, okay, if I get this or I have this, I will feel better. And then that will be then I'll be happy, right? Those are those cravings, going from craving to craving. Stop judging experiences or outcomes as right or wrong, or good or bad. We always talk about this, right? You can feel appreciation for all of them because it's all part of creation, right? Instead, look at them as a new higher vantage point to launch new desires and choose again. Hear this. So whatever the outcome is, right? Don't judge it. Instead, look at it as a new vantage point, a launching pad to launch new desires, to choose again. That's big. See your desires through the lens of the now moment and not something to fulfill in the illusionary future, right? That's why you feel that non-fulfillment. You feel like it's a desire for a future fulfillment. And we talk a lot about Neville Goddard's teachings, about wish fulfilled, and all the other spiritual teachers. But it all gets down to that moment of now, seeing through this now moment. Remember, linear time is bogus. It's not reality. Right? The past, present, and future is all happening. When you're in the now moment, you gotta. There's only thing. Appreciation is all there is in the now moment. Right? There is no resistance in the now. Right, and then it's only resistance when you're in the regretting the past or in the illusionary future, the illusionary past or the illusionary future. Right, stop resisting the unwanted. That's really what it gets down to. So let's go a little further with this. All that is inclusive. What does that mean? It means when you try to exclude something or resist it, you include it in your experience. Hear this, right? When you try to resist the feeling of non-fulfillment, the feeling of feeling, or your desire, or resist your desires because it feels like non-fulfillment. You're including it in your vibration. You're including it in your life, right? You're constantly rejecting, denying, fighting, and pushing against people, events, and circumstances. That includes them in your experience. Anytime you push against something, reject it, deny it, fight it, it includes it. It's an inclusive universe. It's an inclusive creation, right? Unfulfilled desire turns into unwanted. That's what happens, right? That's why. You've got to move from the desire to the fulfillment immediately, from the desiring to the desire already fulfilled, right? Instead, move to the broader perspective in knowing that immediately, that it is fulfilled immediately in the having of it. As soon as you have a desire, it's fulfilled. It's that knowing. It's that higher place of knowing, right? And you can get there through appreciation. Through rejecting nothing, through judging nothing, you will know this, right? You don't have to suffer the extremes of the unwanted to know what you want. That's another bogus belief, right? That, oh, it's good to suffer and struggle in life because it makes you it makes you appreciate what you want, right? You don't have to any of that. You can go right to what you want, right? That's what I want to say to you today. So move from desiring to aligning and identifying with your desire, from becoming your desire, knowing that desire is within you and that you are it. Move from that desiring, from that state of unfulfillment to fulfilled, from aligning with it. It might not be manifested in 3D, but it doesn't have to be because you're aligned with it, you're identifying with it, right? We're so used to looking at the already manifested and judging it and labeling it as bad or good or wanted or unwanted. Right? This is what we're so used to. This is how we're brought up, right? And the 3D world of duality and contrast gives us the free will to choose. That's why we're here. Not to judge it, not to pigeonhole things into categories of good or bad, put things in piles, as Abraham Hicks says, piles of good, piles of bad, piles of right, piles of wrong. Right? Piles of Democrats, piles of Republicans, right? Whatever. This is what Abraham Hicks says, right? We're always putting things in piles and then rejecting a pile or rejecting things in the pile, right? So forget about what to exclude. What do I want to include? Right? We spend so much time on what to exclude that we keep it in our vibration. We keep it in our life experience. Instead, what do I want to include? What do I want? Right, it's that example I gave you walking around in a museum. You don't tell the museum director to take out all the art that you don't like. It's all inclusive. It's all there. You just don't look at it. You look at the stuff you like, right? So resistance is exclusion. Desire is inclusion. Desire can't feel bad unless you're resisting it, unless you're resisting the unwanted, unless you're resisting the non-fulfillment. Right? Instead, it's saying it is fulfilled. I have it. I know it. Right? That's why desire is inclusion. Right? All manifesting processes are to move you to deeply identifying with what you want in desire, being it and believing it. That's what all the processes are for. Whatever it is, scripting, affirmations, imagining, visualizing, right? Whatever it is, it's all to move you to deeply identifying with what you want and desire, and then being it and believing it. That's all that's for. That's all that any process is for. Your higher self always sees the big picture and expresses love, compassion, and appreciation. It's aligning with that higher self. It's always just in love with you, no matter what happens. There's no judgment ever, right? It points you to the path of least resistance. It's effortless, it's fun, it's joyful. It doesn't feel like unfulfillment, right? It feels like the power of now. It feels joyful. It feels fun. It feels like you want to laugh. Like your inner being has a great sense of humor, right? Align with it. Have fun. Be playful. Frolic in life, right? Frolic in your desires. Frolic in your wish fulfilled. And you're not trying to gain advantage or get a one-up on somebody or calculating what's in it for me. All that's of the 3D lack struggle of the 3D world. All of that's from the absence of what you think that you want or desire. You think it's absence, right? That's coming from lack. That's coming from struggle. That's coming from scarcity and limitation, right? None of that is it. There's no separation. There's no competition. There's no loss, and there's never a downside. It's all good and very good, as Scripture says, right? So today I want to hit so how do we create our future self? How do we create that higher, wiser self? Well, here's a technique. Try this today. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to give advice and guidance to a younger you, to a past self, right? From a higher perspective, from that higher self of who you are, right? You're creating your higher self. How? By giving advice to a past self. Imagine a younger you, right? Imagine yourself at any younger age. And then imagine your higher self giving advice, giving guidance, mentoring that young you. Hear the power in this. What's happening? Because we know that past, present, and future is an illusion. So you're connecting with that past self right now through that all-powerful now, and you're creating that higher you as you do that. And as you give that advice, as you give that a guidance, you're changing the past, which changes the present and changes the future, right? Act as a loving mentor, right? That's what your higher self is. It's just love, it's compassion, it's fun, right? Have some humor, have a sense of humor about it. Guide and caring for the future self to that past version. So it's a mentor, it's a guide, and it's caring that caring future self. You're giving advice to that past version of you. That's powerful. Give your past self love, appreciation, and guidance. Tell your past self how everything's going to be amazing and that you're on the right track, and to imagine your wildest dreams, because they can come true. Imagine if you could do that. Tell your past self to imagine your wildest dreams and live that dream. Imagine your wish fulfilled and live that wish fulfilled. Imagine the miracles you create. I'm getting goosebumps when I talk about this. This is really cool. In the present and future. You changed the whole mosaic here. Do you understand the power of this? Guiding your past self, telling your past self to get into that imaginal act, to imagine all his wishes that come true, to imagine the impossible. Wow, that's powerful. Give your past self love and appreciation. You're immediately creating a wise, loving, powerful future self and higher self that sees the broader picture. But it's even bigger than that. You're creating your highest dreams in the present and the future. This is big. You create that higher self, that invincible self, that infinite self, and you create the ideal dream, the ideal experience. This is huge. Try this today. That's how you connect with your higher self. That's how you align with your desire. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, like and share our videos. That's how we get our message out. Hit us up on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful, on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Karen, our website at tomkaren.com or BeSomethingWonderful.com, or write me anytime at info@BeSomethingWonderful.com. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, with great love, creators, see you soon.